So welcome today. We are, oh, that's okay. I see a couple of chat about leaving early. No worries. We're going to have this recorded. So again, my name is Pam Johnson, and you're welcome to ask us questions in the chat. Wendy Fesco is going to monitor our chat for us, and she's just going to stop me as we get going, or I'll stop her while she's presenting, and we can ask questions as we go.
Absolutely.
So I'm going to actually share my screen. And I'm in a training course, and I'm just going to click on modules. So the agenda today, what we thought we would do is show you how to build 3 different ways that you can add Google in Canvas. Then we're going to show it to you from the student perspective, which we think you'll like seeing that. So Google integration is the one place where the student view is not very helpful. So hopefully today you'll be able to see what it looks like, and then you'll have this video to look at or to share if you need.
Absolutely.
Any questions so far before I get started? And I'll try to take some pauses.
I think we're good.
All right. And we always want to do like a check-in, like how you feeling. I know it's the end of the day. So in the chat, if you hit your Windows key and a period, here's a little tip for you. It pulls up your emoji keyboard. So you can kind of put how you're feeling and send a little emoji. So there's my check-in. I got a few sunglasses on a rainy day. If you want to test that out and just give us a how you feeling, you hit the Windows key and the period. So feel free to give us a little character if you want and tell us how you're feeling.
I like it.
All right. So again, another way that you could use to do a little SEL check-in with your students if you're in a Zoom. Okay, let's get started. I saw a lot of good things there, by the way. So if you didn't have a good check-in, hang in there with us. All right. So first of all, what I'm going to do at the top, I'm going to start by creating a module. And this module, I'm just going to name this is Google Integration. And I might want to put integration too. Looks like it remembers where I had one before. And I'm going to spell it correctly. And then I'm going to add the module. I'm going to go to the bottom, and I see where I've added my module. I'm going to click my 3 dots. I'm going to move it and move it to the top. All right. I'm also going to publish. So I'm ready now to start looking at the different ways that I can integrate Google. So the first way I'm going to do this, I'm going to hit plus. And on the outside, I'm going to have a drop down. And today we're going to focus on using the external tool. The reason we wanted to show you this side of the external tool is because it actually works differently when you add it right straight from the modules. So when I click on an external tool here, again, I had a module and I just clicked plus to add content. I scroll down and I'll see Google Drive and I'll see the LTI assignment. So the Google Drive, when I click on this, it's simply going to connect me to my drive. And I think you guys are hearing those little music things. Those are people joining us. So if you are joining us, we're going to start by sharing a couple of ways that you can share information from your Google Drive in Canvas. And today we're focusing on the external tool. I created an assignment. I hit the plus beside the assignment to add content, and I said external tool. And you can see it takes me straight to my drive. Now, the first time you do that, you're going to be asked to authenticate your Google Drive. And you basically are going to see your email. You'll click on that, and you'll say, okay, to allow Canvas and Google Drive to talk to each other. So I'm just going to search for a bingo card. This is one we were playing with earlier that I worked with a media coordinator as a book bingo so that she could encourage students to read different types of books, different genres. So once I've got that added, you'll see it's highlighted, and I say add item. A couple of things I want to point out. This is simply a link. And when Wendy shows you in just a minute what it looks like, it's really just going to take you to my linked document. So that's one way you're welcome to integrate your Google Drive and pull things in that you're working on that you'd like for students to look at. We're going to keep working with external tool though, because the external tool when used inside of an assignment becomes a lot more powerful. So I'm going to click plus again to add content to my module. This time I'm going to drop down and I'm going to choose an assignment. I'm going to click new assignment. And I'm going to call this one the simple Google Cloud. And you'll see why I'm going to say that in just a minute. Integration. And I'm going to add this item. Now the Google Cloud integration is something that we've had for a while. So if you haven't tried this yet, let me show you how it works. We've used this in the past because we want that ability for Canvas to take a Google document and make each student their own copy. And that's what this does. And that's why this has been popular in the past with integrating Google and Canvas. So I'm going to click Edit. The other nice thing about this, besides a lot of people have stated when I talk to them one-on-one that I just give them the link and put copy at the end of the link and it makes them their own copy and it's easier for me. That's definitely an option. And if you know what I'm talking about, great. If you don't, you might want to put in the comment, do you want to explain that later? But I want to show you something better than that. So what I'm going to do, what's nice about this is it's an assignment, so I can give some directions. I can say, complete the bingo card to document your reading. Now I'm going to scroll down. It is an assignment, so I could give them points and I can watch what's going to happen as they continue to do this assignment through Speedgrader. And I could give them an assignment for, points for completing it. I don't have to give them points. If I just want to make this available and I want to give everyone their own copy, then I could take the points out. The key to making this happen is under submission type. So I'm going to click submission type, and there's the external tool. So if you're taking notes, which is great, I take notes a lot to just help my memory when I'm thinking about what I click on. What we've done is we created an assignment, we hit edit, and we went to the submission type and clicked external tool. I'm also going to share a slide deck with you that has screenshots and what we talk about today. So you'll have that in addition to this video. So at this point, we get an option to find an external tool. And when we click find, we're going to scroll down to the G's, and you'll see we have two different types of Google integration. So for this simple one, the reason we called it cloud is that's how it's named in this external tool menu. So I'm going to click on Google Cloud Assignment. And it does say Google Docs Cloud Assignment, but technically it's a Google App Cloud Assignment. So you can link other apps like a Google Slide if you want. All right, so again, I'm just going to find that same. And again, I could go through my files if I want, but I'm just going to search to show you how you can search. And there's that template. And I'm going to submit that. Now, one thing I've noticed that some people do accidentally is they click off of it. There's really nothing here to tell me that it's linked except that it's highlighted. So just make sure that once you've selected it and you click what we just clicked and it comes back to this highlight, that you're not clicking anything else, and then you click select. Notice I have the same options where I can assign it to everyone, or I could just pick an individual student in this class. Madeline's my only student, so that's my only choice for now. But Again, you have that option. Also, if you have your courses cross-listed, you could have just assigned this to one section if you need to. I'm going to go ahead and just save this assignment. And both of these integrations, we wanted to start with this review, are things that we've actually been doing currently inside of Canvas and teachers have seen. The reason we wanted to go over these, however, is to let you compare them so you can see the differences and how it pulls up. So notice that it's previewing immediately in my screen, and at the top I'm able to give some instructions if I want, just like I could in a normal assignment. Any questions so far? All right, so now we're excited to show you, we've got one more build, and this is the new integration. This actually was just turned on for us in August. I think Canvas just rolled it out this summer or this past spring. So I'm going to start with, again, I've got my module. I'm going to hit plus. I'm going to build it the exact same way. Assignment, new assignment. So I choose assignment, new assignment, and I'm going to name this, and I'm going to call it the new, and I'm going to call it assignment instead of cloud. And I might even call it LTI because sometimes I think it might have said that. I'll look in just a second. Google integration. All right, I'm going to add this item. And I'm going to click on it to open and edit. And I'm going to put in this description as I'm talking, I'm just going to talk to you what is different about this. So the nice thing about Google Classroom is that when students are working on an assignment, you can actually click that assignment and watch them work live in real time. And in Canvas, that's not been the case. We've had to let the kids turn in their assignment, or not always the case. You know, they'll have to turn in their assignments. Sometimes if you were creative, they could give you some live links. But what this does is it allows you to pull in any Google Docs that you have the same way before. It makes their own copy, but the interface looks like a Google Classroom interface. So let me show you. I'll get started. There's one key thing that you have to remember. If you want this to count for a grade, like the assignments, if you want this integration to work for a grade, you have to make the points, in this assignment and in the Google assignment match. So that means I do have to give it points. So I'm going to put 100. Now I just do the exact same thing. I click on submission type, external tool, and find. And this time I'm going to scroll down and I'm going to choose the Google assignments. And notice how it has that LTI to kind of let you know this is different. This is new. So I'm going to click on Google assignments. And at this point, I've actually linked mine, but you'll be asked to continue, and I think it is actually going to make me link. Make sure it matches your BCS email for your Google Drive, your Google assignments. And students may also be asked to authorize. So on this one, it's already got me authorized, but the first time you do it in each of your courses, you'll have to click a button that says link or sync. I'm not sure. I might say sync. So this is what it looks like. It actually looks like a Google assignment. So they built it to kind of mimic that. You have the ability then to check for plagiarism. So if I turn that on, I'm getting that originality report. So I have 5 assignments that I could do this. So I can enable it for. And I have the ability to attach something, just like in my Google assignments, where I can attach a document and give everyone their own copy. So I'm going to click attach.
And just to add to this, you don't have to have a Google Classroom. It's not pulling from a physical, real Google Classroom. It's just mimicking the interface. So it creates it like you have a Google Classroom when you really don't.
Exactly. So that's a great point, because a lot of people are like, how do I, in myself, I was asking about that integration. So it's not connecting to a Google Classroom. It's just using an assignment like Google Classroom does. So it's pulling one of the Google assignments. So I click on this template again. I'm going to click add. And you can notice that every student is going to get their own copy. This is where I need to make sure that my points match the assignment points. I can add a rubric, I can add a due date, and I'm going to hit create. Now again, at this point, notice it's highlighted, all of that happened. I have to click select, and then I'm going to scroll down and I can assign it to sections, individual students, or to everyone. I can give due dates just like I have in the past, and I'm going to hit save and publish. So we've looked at the 3 different ways, the really exciting one at the end, as a teacher would, in putting in these assignments in Canvas. And what we're going to do now, which is I think what we think is really exciting for you, is we're going to let Wendy share her screen. And let me just pause for a second so you can see that this integration, before I get too carried away, this is what it will look like on your screen when you click on that assignment. And in a few minutes, as soon as Wendy comes in and actually does something as a student, you'll see that this looks very similar to what the assignments look like in Google Classroom. All right, again, just mimicking it. I'm going to stop sharing. Wendy, if you want to go ahead and share.
Absolutely. So now we're going to take a look at this from the student's perspective. So I am in as my daughter, one of them, and you'll see the 3 assignments that Pam just created. So I'm going to go in the same order that she went into. So the link to the template for book bingo here, and notice it popped up and wanted me to log in. I have already logged in as her and have authenticated, but your students would have to do that the first time. And it walks them through. They log in. The main thing is just making sure they choose their BCS email and not a personal Gmail account if they happen to be signed into both. So here is the template, but it's just view only. So if I were going to do something with this as a student, I would have to make a copy, which of course is going to take me out of Canvas. And then I would have to get it back to you as the teacher if you wanted me to. So this would work okay if you needed to share a resource, something for them to read, something for them to reference, but not necessarily do something with it. So let me go back.
Wendy, hang on one second there. So in that link, that's where we were talking about. That link is based on the share settings that the owner sets. So the settings that are on that document right now are for anyone with a link can view. So if I did want to put a link in where people could edit, I would have to change that on the Google side. All right, so just wanted to clarify. All right, so let's keep going. Yes.
And the editing would be for everyone to edit the one document. So it would be a free-for-all. Now the next one, which is that cloud integration, it's going to look similar, but you're going to notice that I'm going to have my own copy to work on. And it's actually in edit mode. So now my computer's slowing down here. So I'm just going to come in and type right here and put in good old Mr. Rogers and Nancy Drew. There we go. So again, as a student, I'm looking at it, but I have editing rights. It's mine. And I'm going to click the submit button when I'm finished. And what we noticed was that I have a timestamp, but I still have editing rights. So it seems to be live. However, I don't know that we verified this in terms of if the submitted version locks it in time, or if that just alerts me as a student to say, oh yeah, I have submitted this, but then I can continue working on it.
Let's just do a live test right now. Why don't you type in something under adventure and we'll see if that shows up, because the timestamp usually in the past has meant that it just keeps at that point. You can't edit after it's been submitted unless there's a resubmission. So let's just see what happens.
There we go. All right. Okay. So let's see what happens. So from here, we're just going to go forth and go back to our modules ever so slowly. And then finally, we have that LTI integration. And it's taking its sweet little time. Where did it? Oh, there it comes. There we go. And you'll notice on the student side, it looks like Google Classroom. So here I have my file. If there were any instructions, they would show up. Oh, well, they're right here. The make the points. And so you'll notice that it named the file, my daughter's name. So again, it's mimicking Google Classroom. But now I get to work on it in a full-blown Google Doc, like I'm kind of used to. It takes me out. And so let me fill in some things here. Oh, no, I don't need Grammarly. Go away. Go away. Okay, don't go away. Fine. Let's see. Not sure why I'm channeling PBS today, but that's all right.
That's so funny. I was thinking the Hardy Boys too. Just because of Nancy Drew.
Kind of tell where we grew up, what era in time. There we go. Now, from this, I would actually just close it out like I would normally. And then the students have a button to open and attach. And this to me is pretty cool. Not only does it have, yes, not only do I have my actual Google Doc that I was working on, but I can attach additional files, or I can create straight from there. That's pretty cool. But anyway, I'm going to do that and I'm going to submit. And it's telling me, yay, and it tells me that my instructor has enabled the originality reports and I haven't checked my own work. So I'm running a risk there, but I'm going to submit anyway. And now, it shows me that I'm all set. It's been submitted. I can unsubmit, just like Google Classroom, which is pretty cool that the kids can pull it back. So I'm just going to close that out and go back to my modules here. And I'm going to stop sharing because now you're going to get to see the teacher's side of what the student work looks like.
All right, so let's go in and let's look at the teacher's side one more time. And click on modules. And let's take a look at the last two because they're the ones that had submissions. So I'm going to click on the simple one, simple Google Cloud integration. From this type of integration, we are actually going to use the Speedgrader. So I'll show you how that works. So it's going to actually just pull up the template for me to look at. And just like in normal assignments, I would hit the Speedgrader to go in and have that document pull up. Just like your assignments in Speedgrader, you have some simple tools across the top where you can add information, comments, feedback, and a grade. So that's how it's going to look. You can see I can see her work. All right, so that's the simple one. So the idea behind the simple one, which we've loved for a while, is that it made its own copy for the students. And inside that Google document, when it made its own copy, she was able to click submit. So it made it very easy for them to turn in. All right, so now let's go back and let's look at the new one. And this is the piece that I think a lot of people are going to like, or what I liked. I was pretty excited when I saw this, actually. I had a teacher send this to us, by the way. Kevin Campbell, if you are here, or if you watch this video, we appreciate you being on top of it this summer and going, has anyone checked this out? And so we did and got it added. So notice that if I had multiple students, they would show up. Again, very similar to Google Classroom. I can look at one submitted. I haven't returned any yet. And I can go down and just kind of click on that submission. One thing we didn't point out that Wendy and I were playing with earlier, this works exactly the same with a Google slide. And I'd given her a double bubble thinking map and asked her to fill in some pieces on that. I could go and watch her work on it live. She did not have to submit it for me to see her work. I just clicked on it. And I have all the features inside of the Google slide and the Google Doc that I normally would, which allow me to highlight and comment. So I can see that she has put her information in. One thing I want to point out, I was actually working with a group of teachers today, and we were talking about this. This is a comment bubble, very similar to the comment bubble that you see in the top middle. So the top middle comment bubble, this one is for me to comment directly on the document. So I might highlight text, click on the comment, or I could do it on the side. Notice that little pop-up too. And I could say, love this book, or these books. There's a series of them, right? So I could put that comment, and the student will see that on their document as well. This comment bubble is a little bit different. To the right, this is a way for me to grade. So again, very similar to Google Classroom. So I can give some overall feedback. I can say, we called it the, what do we call it? The compliment sandwich. So nice job so far, but keep
Yes.
reading. Yeah. And then I love your choices too. I've read them all. You know, so there's your compliment sandwich. All right. I wanted to show you this comment feature though. This is a bank. So you could actually come up and create your own bank of comments that you are usually, that you're seeing a lot. So you're not having to type them all again. So nice job with attention. This makes no sense right here, but anyways. To detail. All right. All right. So I might have a bunch of comments that I could come up. Oh, it's the same one I did earlier. Right. And I can copy that to a clipboard, come back and just paste it. So that way it saves me a little bit of time if there's a comment that I'm using often. And I can grade it. So I'm going to go ahead and give you an 80 to encourage you to keep working, right? But I'd love for you to check out more books. And I'm going to click return. I want to show you one more thing, and then we'll switch it back over and let Wendy show you what it looks like for the student. So now that I've submitted it, I should see this return. So I'm going to go ahead and refresh my page. And you'll notice that when it pops up, that it changes. So again, I have this group of these people have submitted, or this group of I've returned them. Again, that was a nice feature of Google to help you organize your work and whose you've graded and whose you haven't, or whose you've made comments on. I know we only have one student, but you can see how that's working there. And then if I go to grades, this assignment and the grade is automatically added to my grading sheet and can be linked to PowerTeacher Pro just like any assignment. So you're seeing that here's her 80. This is one she did earlier for me when we were practicing. This is the 80 that I just gave her. So it's going to show up in your grade book just like any assignment. All right, so I'm going to switch it back over to Wendy and let her show you one last time how the grading piece looks on her side.
Absolutely. So we will take a look here at this right here, especially because this is the one that actually has the comments. And so as I go in, I can see where, what the grade is. I can see here that I have a comment waiting on me that's actually inside the document, and I have the overall feedback. And so if I open it up, I can see the comment on my Hardy Boys here. Eventually, maybe this is where we do a song and dance routine while we wait on the email or the internet. Oh, bless it.
There it comes.
There he comes. It's slowly but surely going to get there.
And again, we wanted to point out, we tested this with slides.
There it is.
So with documents and slides, it's an excellent way, I think, to really integrate the two and get students their own copies.
Yes.
Cool.
And so then if I've checked it, yes, I've checked her comment, maybe I've made some more changes, then I can just close out my document and I can resubmit it through the same button that I originally went through. And it even says resubmit, which is pretty cool.
And we also noticed that once she resubmits it, the document itself becomes a draft version. And what you'll see is in this area, you'll see a word that says draft. And while it's in draft mode, so it's somewhere in that area, you'll see draft instead of a grade, then it won't be in the grade book. So again, once it's submitted, it'll be part of your grade book. But whenever she resubmits it to me and I'm working on it, until I return it to her, it doesn't actually go in her grade book. So, so we're really excited about this, and we thought the last half of this session, we would open it up for you all to ask questions, and if you want to practice, then we're here to help you.